Welcome to the Prep Zone. My name is Grant Yenny. Tonight we're here at Jack Salter Stadium for second round playoff action as the Ouachita Parish Lions travel to take on the undefeated Covington Lions. Now both teams have had a rough road to get here, tough challenges, their fair shares of blowouts and close ones. So we'll see what happens tonight. This should be a very, very good game as Washita is coming out of one of the toughest districts in the state. And of course, Covington has proven themselves being undefeated. Now let's bring in our color analyst, Coach Jimmy Inman, for more analysis. Coach, we've seen Covington all season. What do we know about them coming into tonight?
Well, first of all, very balanced team. They can run the ball, they can toss the rock. They've got guys on the defensive side that can do their job and do it flawlessly. The execution has been at a high level all year, and the senior leadership has been there all year. And it's, come to the fore over and over again.
And Washita on the other side of the field, we've heard a lot about them. What do we know?
Look, they're a top 10 team. When you're in a district with Ruston and West Monroe and you're playing those guys to 1- and 3-point losses respectively, this is literally a top 10 matchup. You could easily actually argue it's a top 5, top 6 matchup with two of the best teams in the state.
I agree. Coach, we'll have more up in the booth. I spoke with both coaches moments ago. Let's hear what they had to say and get to the action. Pregame with Coach Salter. Coach, week 12, second round of the playoffs. What was your message to your team coming into this playoff game tonight?
Same as it has been all year. Take each game one game at a time. Our goal last week was to walk off the field 11-0, and tonight it's to get that 12th win, and we want to be practicing on Thanksgiving. So that's the the next task at hand is Washita. They're a great team, so that's where all our eyes are on them in tonight's game.
Washita 7-4, but they play in a very tough district. What did y'all see in film? What do y'all know about them coming into tonight?
I know they're very athletic and they're very aggressive, and that's that's a great recipe for winning games. We certainly have our hands full. They do a lot of things that are going to create problems. They've created problems for other teams, so we'll have to do our best to manage that and just continue to do what we do to the best of our ability. And it should be a great game.
Pregame with Coach Fitzgerald. Coach, it's our first time seeing you in the Prep Zone this year. You're from up north. Can you give us a rundown on how your season went?
We had a pretty good season. We lost some really close games to some great opponents, and we continue to get better as the year went on, and so feel good about where our ball club is right now. And we've got a great group of kids, and just love going to work, coaching these guys every day.
Covington undefeated coming into tonight. What's it going to take to get a win tonight?
Man, we got to play great. We got to play discipline and be great blockers and tacklers. Man, they got a great football team. They're 11-0. They ain't 11-0 for no reason. I mean, they've whipped the fire out of a bunch of good teams. Got some tremendous weapons offensively, and then man, they play sound defensive football and are very well coached. Great football team.
And number 20, Mason Shalana.
Round 2 action underway. Shalona and Clark back to receive for the Lions. Clark will return this one. Barreling forward, has room to run. He gets out to about the 31-yard line, and there's a flag to start off this game. Ouachita Parish against Covington, the battle of the Lions here.
Absolutely, and like we said in the intro, this is realistically a top 10 matchup. Some would argue a top 5 matchup based on how strong Ouachita has been and losing some really, really close games.
Yeah, I mean, when you only lose to West Monroe by 1 point.
And on the road.
Yeah, that's a stout showing.
On the road. So, as intimidating as coming to Jack Salter Stadium, the old Cow Palace, so to speak, and the Palace is packed tonight. They have packed the Palace of Lions fans, the Covington Lions fans, I should say. This is a team that will not be intimidated by that atmosphere.
So we'll see the Covington offense first. Josh Alfaro at quarterback, putting Elgin Bell in motion. Calls for it. He'll hand off. He'll play action. Keep it himself. Right side. That's a first down or close to it for the Lions. Yeah, they'll move the chains. First down on their first play from scrimmage. And that's kind of something to look at all night because Washita plays man on the receivers. They don't account for the quarterback as much, and he could have a big night.
He could, and you know what? He's got the ability to tuck it and run with the best of them. You don't think of a Cam Newton, but I tell you what, he can do some damage, I promise you.
And when he gets hit, I bet he won't complain either. Handoff goes to Devin Brumfield, and good hole from the offensive line. A lot of push off the ball.
And, that's going to be the key for Covington tonight. If they can establish the run, it's really going to make it tough on the Ouachita Lions' defensive secondary because, it's one of those things, like you said, if their backs are to the ball and they're running away from it, and either Alfaro or, just anyone for Covington, Brumfield gets the ball and goes forward, they may have acres of space in front of them as a result of that.
Yeah, 2 plays, 2 first downs. Twins to the left for the Lions, for the Covington Lions. Alfaro calling for it, give to Brumfield, coming right side, good lead block.
Great block.
He's coming to the near sideline. He's wrapped up and brought down by Joshua Newton after crossing the 50. That's another first down, but that was a great lead block there by Jeremiah Driver in that flanker position.
I tell you what, Driver, he did just that. He power driving time, put his 2 hands right into the chest of the defender right there and just absolutely pushed him backwards and created tons of space for Devin Brumfield. And that is not a guy, if you're a Ouachita, that you want in space.
1st and 10 once again for the Covington Lions. Alfaro calling for it. He'll keep it himself. After the fake, he tried to sling off the defender, Jaden Harris.
Well, I tell you what, Jaden Harris is quality. He's definitely one of the more talented players every time he walks on the field, and he's a commitment to Arkansas State as a defensive back, and he's got all the tools. And Alfaro might be able to shove off a lot of guys, but that just wasn't going to happen with that particular guy, I can promise you.
Yeah, 6'2", 202.
Yeah, he's not a small person.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 13 for the Lions. Calling for it. This one goes to Brumfield. Has a big hole, and he'll get a gain of about 6.
Yeah, I tell you, Brumfield, when he's not getting hit, it's really making it tough. Carl Glass was on the tackle right there, sophomore, 5'10", 170. And I tell you what, in his next 2 years, his junior and senior year, he's not going to see many guys of the ability of Devin Brumfield rolling through the middle like that.
So that brings up a 3rd down for the Lions after their first 3 plays went for first downs. Twins to the left, Alfaro in the gun. Calling for it, looking to pass, pressure coming, and he had Shalona. Shalona was open had he placed it right on, but pressure was bearing down from number 22, Elijah Hall.
Yeah, Ouachita put 8 men in the box, and they were basically playing run blitz on the way to the quarterback. The 2 guys that were basically, sealing the edge, so to speak, trying to funnel Devin Brumfield or Alfaro, if they were trying to run for those 5 yards up the middle where the strength was in terms of numbers. But the nice thing about that play is they were actually able to create pressure from the outside.
Devin Wallace back to return the quick kick from Alfaro. Gets this one away. It's very high. Wallace muffs it, and it's picked up by his own teammate, C.J. Brown, taking it to that far sideline over there. But good heads-up play from the junior Brown to catch the muffed punt.
Well, and that's the first bit of luck this evening. That easily, given the circumstances, being a punt return, could have been the Covington High School Lions ball. Instead, Ouachita quick to the ball. So, and not only were they quick to the ball, got a nice gain out of it.
So now we'll get our first look at Jabari Johnson and company, this Washita offense. Johnson, a commit to UL Monroe, actually as a defensive back, but he's playing quarterback for Washita, and he's had a stellar season. The first handoff goes to Dylan Roberts, who's also having a stellar season for the Ouachita Lions.
Yeah, Roberts, he's got a really gaudy average, over 7.1 yards for his career. And this year, he's actually kicked that up a notch. He's averaging nearly 8 yards a carry. So he and Devin Brumfield are 2 of the best around. And I tell you, this is going to be a tall task for the Covington Lion defense.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 1. Snap is back. Keeping it himself is Johnson, looking to bounce it outside. Racing down the sideline. He's pushed out of bounds by Milton Clark after crossing the 50. But that'll move the chains for Ouachita.
Yeah, Johnson wearing number 1, and I can promise you, he's probably been number 1 in a few sprints in his day. He's definitely got a set of wheels, although right now he looks like he has a little hitch in his giddy up. So that could be something to take note of as we go forward.
And Ouachita awaiting the new play coming in from the sideline here on 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Johnson calling for it. He'll throw this one, lofts it up, has an open receiver, racing down, it's caught, and he's wrapped up and brought out of bounds by Milton Clark, but a huge gain on the pass from Johnson to Joshua Newton.
Yeah, I tell you what, he got behind the secondary right there, and it's one of those things where it's just a fly route. He's on a go, and look, good ball from Jabari Johnson. I mean, that ball was nicely delivered. He didn't have to wait on it one iota. Nice job by Clark and Menheim of making sure he didn't find 6, but it definitely puts the Lions defense behind the 8 ball right here.
So 1st and goal. Johnson calling for it. Handoff goes to Roberts. Shakes off one defender. Tried to shake off another defender, but he's brought down by Avery Mendheim.
Yeah, Mendheim did a good job right there, because I tell you what, if he doesn't get the ankles and make that tackle, that's 6.
Back to Newton for 1 second. He's Johnson's favorite receiver, 27 receptions, 620 yards on the season. His longest, a 78-yard reception.
Well, I tell you what, it might not have been 78 yards right there, but it's in the neighborhood, and it just goes to show you how potent that combination can be.
3 backs in the backfield here. Motion. Johnson calling for it. Handoff Roberts, and he's going to be stuffed at the goal line.
Yeah, he's not even going to be at the goal line. He'll be a full 2 yards short, it looks. Definitely a long yard, but I'd have to say closer to 2. So it's going to set up a really, really important 3rd down.
Dylan Roberts, the running back, has topped 100 yards in 10 of the last 13 games.
Yeah, in 3/4 of his varsity games, he's actually hit the 100-yard mark. So talk about consistency. That guy's got it.
Johnson calling for it. Handoff goes, met in the backfield. It's slung down.
And that's
brought down there by Trevor Betts.
The district MVP right there on the defensive side of the ball, showing why he actually had those accolades. Definitely earned on the season and earned his keep right there.
So that'll bring up 4th and goal from the 10-yard line, and the field goal unit will come on as Christian Kukal will attempt a field goal here. We were watching Kukal in warm-ups. He's got a pretty solid leg.
He can definitely put a charge into it. I guess at this point your only concern would be a little bit off-center, but it's not something he should have an issue with.
Snap, kick is up, and it is no good.
Wow.
Pulled right. Covington crowd got a charge out of that one.
I tell you what, that little bit off center obviously made more of an impact than I would have thought. And how big is that play by Milton Clark and Avery Menheim chasing the wide receiver down, making sure that not only did they not get 6, Ouachita didn't even get 3 there.
Also on that run by Roberts, he thought he had a clear line, and Menheim was able to wrap him up at the ankles and bring him down. That was critical as well. The second effort from Menheim.
2 big plays from Menheim under those circumstances.
So 2 pretty good drives that didn't lead to pay dirt. So here's the second look at the Covington offense. Calling for it, Alfaro, play action, looking to pass, has a wide open driver. And he's still going. He's going to go straight to the end zone. 5 touchdown. Jeremiah Driver was wide open over the middle. Nobody accounted for him, and he hits pay dirt.
Well, I tell you, that's one of those things where, like I said, if it's an 8-man front and everyone is look and run, and you're run blitzing on the way to the quarterback, if you don't get to the quarterback and someone hits that seam, they're all by themselves. And that's exactly what happened with Driver. He released, went out straight forward up the seam. Beautiful throw by Alvaro. And the line did just enough to make sure nothing could disrupt that pass.
Austin Furman now to attempt the extra point for the Lions, the Covington Lions. Snap is back, placed, kick,
The point after.
and it is good. So with 6:15 remaining here in the first quarter, the Covington Lions lead 7-0. McKnight to kick this one away for the Covington Lions. Datron Harper back deep. They keep it on the ground. It's picked up. Looking for a seam. That was Chonzavia Lewis.
Yeah, I tell you, this is something that Covington does. They'll play the nice little soft squib, and basically their cover teams have been excellent for the most part all year long. And you know, ideally you want the other team starting and having to drive the field, the length of the field every single time. But that shows you how much confidence they have in their defense and you know, the schemes that Coach Glenn Salter, you know, designs for his guys on that side of the ball.
So we'll see Jabari Johnson and company on the field once again, as well as Dylan Roberts in the backfield with him, calling for it. He'll keep it himself up the middle. Had a pretty good hole. He'll gain about 4 on the carry.
I tell you what, he is an elite player. He's one of those players that you got to keep him under wraps, because if you don't, he's got the ability to take over a game.
Yeah, we were talking before the game about just the size and the physicality of Johnson. Big guy going to play defensive back at the next level.
Which should tell you all you need to know about the next
Exactly
level.
how hard-nosed he can play. It's 2nd and 6 for Johnson, calling for it, looking to pass this time. Rolling to his right as pressure bears down, trying to get outside. Looking to make a play on his own. He gets the first down before running out of bounds over there. Milton Clark pressured him to run out of bounds.
And again, that's just the abilities that, you know, that's the things that he can bring to the table based on his ability. He can get out wide, and as soon as he does, 5 yards is nothing. I mean, it's nothing.
Well, you saw him as soon as he got outside. You saw the Jets turn on.
He kicked it into high gear, and look, it was one step. It wasn't a yard, it was a step. So
1st and 10, 5:25 to go here in the first quarter, with Covington leading 7-0. You have a motion. Calling for it is Johnson. Handoff goes to Roberts. And he's brought down by Corey Donovan.
yeah, Donovan, and I tell you, you know, this is one of those things where even when you're hemming them in, they're still getting a little bit of yardage. Cooper was also in on that. Cooper's been on the last 2 tackles, Edrin Cooper, showing his versatility as well.
Edrin Cooper, also the backup running back on offense.
That's what I say, his versatility. He's too talented to not have on the field in some capacity.
But that was a loss of 3 as it's now 2nd and 9.
Timeout. Ouachita.
Washita takes a timeout. So with 4:40 remaining here in the first quarter, Covington leads 7-0. 2nd and 9, coming out of the timeout, Washita with Johnson alone in the gun. Johnson calls for it, looking to pass, pressure bearing down, rolling right, launches it down, and it is incomplete. Intended out there for Joshua Newton, his favorite target, but good coverage from Avery Mendheim.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Milton Clark had the short man, and he basically had him hemmed up against the sideline. So Clark actually was not only covering his wide receiver, he was also spying the quarterback right there, which goes to show his intellectual side of the game on top of the athleticism.
3rd and 9. 2 to the right, 2 to the left, calling for it. Flair out to Roberts. He's still on his feet, racing forward, looking to outrun one man, and he will score. Touchdown for the Washington Parish Lions. Unbelievable. Dylan Roberts.
Yeah, I tell you what, he hit the hole and he was gone. You know, there's probably going to be some argument as to why the hole was, why it opened up so suddenly. I'm sure some of the Lion faithful, or the Covington Lion faithful, are going to say they may have been doing a little arm wrestling over there.
Well, you could hear the volume in the crowd turn down as that play progressed.
Well, I think everyone kind of saw, you know, like I said, as soon as the hole was there. that it was going to be a problem. So, hey, that guy, when he hit the hole, it was a home run. No other way to say it.
Kukal's extra point is up and good. 4:22 to go here in the first quarter. The score is tied at 7. Lewis kicking off after the Ouachita Parish touchdown. Shalona and Clark back deep to receive. He boots this one down. It'll be returned by Clark, fielding it at the 5. Clark looking for a hold, has room down the right sideline, looking to cut back inside, still going. Breaks away from another defender, has a block, stumbles, and he'll be brought down at the 5-yard line. What a return from Milton Clark.
Well, I tell you what, I was about to comment and talk about the great play call by Coach Fitzgerald. But man, what a big response.
And we're going to step away for the injury timeout. So Milton Clark was able to walk off under his own power. That's a good sign. Alfaro calling for it, hands off to the freight train, Devin Brumfield, and he'll be stopped after a gain of about 1 on 1st and goal.
Yeah,
what a stellar return for Clark there.
Yeah, I mean, my word. That's highlight reel stuff. And like I said, what a great response. Because, look, you got to give credit where it's due. Coach Fitzgerald's, offensive, play right there, setting up that screen was beautifully executed. So you needed a big response, but who would have thought it would have been that play immediately?
Now Farrow handing off to Brumfield, looking to lunge forward.
He's in.
Ouachita saying no, he's short, and they will mark him a yard.
Wow.
No, well, one official saying short, the other official saying touchdown.
I was going to say, he's in. The ball crossed the plane easily. Now, they may argue, was his knee down, but it's kind of hard to argue where was his knee in relation to the ball when it was crossed. But, I mean, I saw immediately that to me it looked like a touchdown, and it wasn't any debate about it.
They're still debating it here with both teams standing around the referee discussion. Let's see. Awaiting the official call.
Wow.
So the white hat says second down. Third down.
That's really rare. That's really rare. But, hey, good communication on the officials' part right there. They talked about it, and now Covington, all they need to do is get the nose of the ball over the line.
Yeah, right at the goal line. They're in the Maryland eye. Alfaro under center, calls for it, dives over himself, extending that full 6'3" frame and putting it over for the touchdown. So, once again, great response from Covington.
Yeah.
Ouachita scores.
Yeah.
They have the long return from Clark and then punch it in there.
And I tell you what, it was much needed because that definitely had Ouachita fired up on the sidelines. So now it's time for them to go back to the grind, so to speak. But they'll have no issue with that because they've got the guys to definitely do that.
Furman to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Mendheim. Snap is back, good snap. Kick is up, and it is good. So with 3:08 remaining here in the first quarter, Covington leads 14-7. McKnight to kick this one away for the Covington Lions after the Alfaro touchdown. Keeps this one short, rolls. It'll be returned once again by 31, Tronzavia Lewis.
He's got some space.
Lewis has some space here, headed toward the near sideline, and he'll be dragged down by number 25. That's Trevion Brumfield.
I tell you what, that is a concern with the slow squib is if anyone can find a lane, it's not long before they're past the 40-yard line and getting close to midfield, and that's where we're at now.
So Ouachita will take over at the 48-yard line. Good field position to start this drive. They're looking for a response to the Covington touchdown.
And again, like I said, they've got the guys to do this. Jabari Johnson, again, he's wearing number 1, like I said, for a reason. He's their number 1 threat. But they have a lot of other talent. Let's see what happens.
Trips right. Screen goes out to Newton.
Newton
Beautiful. Oh.
gets away from a defender in the backfield, still on his feet, looking to make a play. He's losing a lot of ground, and he'll be dropped for a huge loss by Trevor Betts.
I tell you what, he made a great play. Somehow, some way, he got out of the grips of Juwan Harrell, and we've seen Harrell all season long. I mean, he's got vice grips for hands. So for him to get out of that was amazing. But then he started going backwards, and you don't want to do that and have Trevor Betts sitting right there looking at you. Because, again, the defensive MVP of the district and, awarded that for a reason.
That makes it 2nd and 23 now for Ouachita. Not good going backwards. Trips left. Johnson will keep this himself, looking to bounce it out to the right. Mendheim will force him out of bounds around the 45-yard line, but that's well shy of even the initial line of scrimmage.
Yes, but it goes to illustrate his explosiveness. I mean, if he's able to plant 1 yard further inbounds and 1 yard further upfield, who knows where he's going with that.
It'll be 3rd.
So that brings up 3rd and 13. I believe this is a big passing down for Washita as they're going 5 wide.
And this is also dangerous because this is where Johnson can actually take off.
Johnson, pass right side, picked off by Milton Clark. It was through the hands of the receiver Joshua Newton and right into the hands of Milton Clark. Milton Clark making plays all over the field in the first quarter.
Not just plays, big plays.
Big time.
The huge return and now the pick. And again, we talked also about he and Mendheim tracking down the wide receiver who initially got behind him, and there were no points that came out of that. So, yes, that's one of those weird big plays where you get kind of burned for a big play, but his athleticism and, more importantly, his effort, his drive, his determination, those things definitely came into play.
So trips to the right, the Covington Lions come out quickly and set up shop. Here, a minute 57 to go here in the first. Handoff goes to Brumfield, has a huge hole, and he'll gain about 8 on the run. Basically, but talk about that big momentum swing. Yeah, basically his average.
Basically his average. He's just such a good back and a great offensive leader, great guy off the field, the works.
He's going to be a great asset at Texas Tech.
Yes, and that's, he's the kind of guy that he's kind of made the commitment. I wouldn't be surprised to see him follow that all the way through. But there's no doubt he's going to get looks from tons of other people. And we've mentioned, of course, Alabama as well.
So 2nd and 2. Alfaro calls for it. He'll give to Brumfield again, going right side. Had a hole, looking to push away a defender, still rumbling past the 15, down inside the 10-yard line before being brought down by Jonathan Williams. But a huge gain. That one significantly above average for Devin Brumfield.
Well, give his line, and his blockers credit right there because he didn't get touched for quite some time.
No.
When he did, he was not kind or gentle about dishing out that punishment. But it goes back to saying it's not a surprise that everybody in the country pretty much is looking at Devin Brumfield.
Yeah, everybody knows who Devin Brumfield is.
And if they don't, they need to find a new profession.
Yes. 48 seconds to go here in the first quarter. 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Maryland Alfaro hands it off to Brumfield again. He's met at the line, stayed the course, and will score. That first guy is never going to bring him down.
And I tell you what, that was a collision in that hole. I'm talking 2 bodies met in that hole, and it might as well have been a head-on collision because it was just an absolute, mayhem in that hole. And guess what? Devin bounced off of it, never got out of high gear, and just kept on going.
So on to attempt the extra point is Furman out of the hold of Mendheim. Snap is back, place, kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 37 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, Covington leads 21-7. McKnight kicking this one away, squibbing it once again. It will get back to that 3rd line, picked up by Chauncey Lewis. That is Cale Wheeler. And Wheeler will be wrestled down, but a flag comes out, brought down by Crandall and Niger Rout.
We might see some holding.
But that'll be holding on Washita, and that'll back them up. Crowd likes that call.
And it makes that kick, by Devin McKnight that much more effective. That as weird as it sounds, that kick, like I said, the soft squib, he does a good job of directing it, putting it kind of where they, want it to set up, which is one of the reasons that Covington has had such good special teams in terms of their, squad handling the return so well.
Yes.
So, the return man so well, I should say. So, hey, when you get a hold on that play on top of it, now they're starting at, the 22.
Yes. The 22-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Johnson calls for it. Roberts stumbled but stayed up. Corey Donovan will bring him down after about a 5-yard gain.
And again, quality running back. Roberts, he's averaging almost 8 yards a carry as well. So as weird as that sounds, that's below his average.
And that's a testament to the front seven of
Ouachita and Covington.
So 2nd down, 2nd and 5, and that will end the first quarter before Washita is able to get the play off. So that ends the first quarter with Covington leading 21-7.
St. Tammany Parish Public Schools, an A-rated school district. Graduates with the highest ACT scores in the state. Facilities with the latest technology. Safe and secure schools. A variety of sports. Fine arts. And learning to last a lifetime.
I'm Superintendent Trey Foles, and this is where we educate every child, every day.
Start of the second quarter, 2nd down. Johnson calls for it. He'll keep himself looking to redirect and was stuffed. He'll lose a yard on that carry.
Yeah, I tell you what, Covington did an excellent job right there of just maintaining containment. They basically played the running back first. They made him keep it, and then at that point, Johnson had nowhere to go. They did an excellent job of keeping containment right there as well.
So 3rd down and 4 for Washita. They're going 5 wide here. Johnson alone in the backfield.
This may be a design run.
Calls for it. Johnson looking to pass. Complete. Good full extension there from number 17, Jake Hammond. He extended all the way out to catch that ball and bring it down for the 1st down.
And not only did he extend out, he absorbed a huge hit right there and held on to the ball.
Well, Hammond, 6'2", 245, senior tight end.
Tell you what, there's some big hitting going on. We talked about the collision in the hole down here when Brumfield scored, and Hammond right there able to absorb that hit and hold on to the ball. Impressive.
Yeah, 245. When you're taking a hit like that, it's still, bigger they are, the harder they fall. When he goes up, came down hard. And Roberts there with the run to the 40-yard line, so a 6-yard gain on the carry.
Yeah, I tell you, once he gets a little momentum, he's tough, and if he hits the hole, he could be gone. So that was a good job by Pennington and Menheim right there, making sure he wasn't going anywhere.
2nd and 4 as they await the new play from the sideline. Now, both offenses were playing pretty up-tempo to start this first quarter, but now Washita seems to have slowed down a little bit. Maybe what led to that interception was a little jumpiness and going too quickly.
Possibly.
Handoff goes to Roberts again, and he's hit in the backfield. He'll be dropped for about a 2-yard loss by Jawan Harrell.
A lot of gold helmets right there, getting to the ball quickly. And, it's one of those things where if he falls forward, it could be an issue. But Covington making sure that didn't happen.
So that brings up 3rd and 5 for Washita as they await the play from the sideline. Looks like they're going to go 3 to the left. Tight end is down. Hammond over there. Snap is back. Handoff goes to Roberts, hits the hole hard, and man, he was like fired out of a cannon as soon as he hit that hole.
Yeah, I tell you, it's one of those things where, like I said, if you don't get a full tackle on him, you're not arm tackling him. When our linebackers are sitting in there and they're getting a hand on him, he is just so strong, so powerful.
So that's a first down for Washita, looking to drive and looking to respond as they're down by 2 scores here with 9:30 remaining in the second quarter.
And it's a good drive so far by Ouachita. I tell you, Coach Fitzgerald and Coach Davis, the offensive coordinator, are doing a good job with the play calling.
Calling for it is Johnson. He'll hand off Roberts, going left side. Had room to run, looking to cut back toward the middle. And that's about an 8-yard gain on the run. Some chippiness over there on the far sideline. But it'll bring up 2nd and 2 for Washita.
Yeah, and
both teams are lucky that no flags came out there.
Well, I tell you what, if you looked, both sets of players were actually there and actually dragging away any of the guys who thought about being chippy. So kudos to both squads right there. Coach Fitzgerald's squad being disciplined on that sideline, and of course Coach Alter's squad doing the same, and that is the expectation.
So 2nd and 2. Calling for it. Handoff goes on his feet. New running back in, and he'll be down at about the 30-yard line. That's Chunzavia Lewis carrying there.
Yeah, I tell you what, only a sophomore, 5'9", 145, and he's a change of pace back, I guess is the best way to say it. He's got a higher gear. He's full speed in a step and a half.
So another first down for Washita as they await the new play coming in. And Lewis will stay in, but that was a good run by the sophomore. He hit the hole hard, gets the first down.
Yes, indeed.
Calling for it, Johnson, handoff, he play action, launches this one out, and it is complete to his favorite receiver, Joshua Newton, who's inside the 5, pushed out of bounds over there by Avery Mendheim.
Yeah, I tell you, it's one of those, just throw it up and make the receiver go high point the ball, and that's exactly what happened. He gave the receiver the opportunity to do so. Receiver knew the ball was coming and made a great adjustment to the ball and was able to get his feet down.
So let's see if they can respond here. 1st and goal at the 4. See if they can punch it in as they trail by 2 scores. Johnson calling for it. Handoff goes to Roberts, makes a move, and Trevor Betts knocks him down, awaiting the call here. They say he's down at the 1. Good save there by Trevor Betts.
Yeah, I tell you what, he definitely got an ear hole full of Trevor Betts right there. But the ball is literally just the nose away from the goal line.
Johnson calling for it. They go Roberts again, and he's stuffed. Dropped down for a loss of a yard.
He did. He lost a yard right there. I'm surprised that Ouachita didn't
go under center.
Yeah, and let Johnson just go over the top.
The same
like
play
Alfaro did.
Right.
Because, I mean, he's a great athlete, 6 foot tall, 194 pounds. He could reach that ball across in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw him coming out in the gun with the ball literally an inch away from the goal.
And this is a big 3rd down. It's only a yard, but that can seem like a mile away in this situation.
Johnson calls for it. Handoff met in the backfield. Roberts and the ball's loose. And going the other way, big recovery from Chandler, Washington.
How big is that play? My God. I tell you what, that just kind of goes to show you, if they just reach the ball across right there, we're in a 1-score game.
Yes.
Now we're still in a 2-score game. The difference is Covington has the ball and has an opportunity to drive the other way.
And Covington just has absolute momentum in this one.
Yes. We talked about Ouachita getting the first break of the game when they recovered the fumble on the kick. But since then, Covington with the pick from Milton Clark and now the fumble and subsequent recovery, that's good news for the Lions, the Covington Lions.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. The Covington Lions will set up shop.
And I tell you what, a long drive here. 6 minutes and 46 seconds left on the clock.
Motion from Bell. Handoff, Brumfield going left side, trying to barrel over defenders. He'll gain about 5. before being brought down by number 13, Jonathan Williams, over here on the near sideline.
I was going to say 6:46 and a long drive. That would be just what Coach Salter would dial up.
Here's a stat for you, something in this the media guide that we were given from Ouachita Parish. Ouachita they're 46-4 over the last 6 seasons when leading an opponent at half, but they're 2-24 when trailing at half.
Then it's imperative that Covington stay on top if they want to see this game out.
Yeah, Covington leading by 2 scores. Alfaro in the gun, calling for it. Hands off, goes to Brumfield, has a huge hole. He hit that one hard and wrapped up around the leg and brought down by number 8, Jaden Harris.
And I tell you what, if Harris doesn't get him, he's off for a long run. He might have taken it to the house. You're right.
1st and 10 for Covington as they continue this drive, and along with it, eating up clock.
Yeah, 5:50 and counting.
For the Lions, pick up a 8 on that play. Ball spotted at the Covington 33.
So 5:39 here to go in the second.
More importantly, Covington 3 timeouts left, so the clock is not their enemy.
No.
Well, and here's one of them.
Here's one of them. So timeout taken by Covington. 5:30 to go here in the first half. Covington leads 21-7. 1st and 10 after the Covington timeout. Alfaro in the gun. Here's Bell, motion across, calling for it. Toss to Brumfield and hits a halfback pass to Alfaro, wide open, crossing the 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Alfaro will score.
Bag of tricks, baby, bag of tricks. I tell you what, that was an absolutely beautifully drawn up play. We've seen it before, the little, pass back to the quarterback. What touch on the ball by Brumfield to just put it out there. And what a great catch by Alfaro. Over the shoulder, little basket catch, and then once he got it,
takes it to the house.
And good blocking downfield as well. Great play design to draw everyone to the right. Bell going across. Major concern if you're another team when Bell's in motion. So, great play design.
And Furman on for the extra point. Snap is back. It's good. Kick is up. And it is good. So with 5:18 remaining here in the first half, Covington leads 28-7. So McKnight to kick this one away after the halfback pass throwback to Alfaro for the score. And this one will be returned by Ouachita as it's kept on the ground and quickly wrapped up. There's a flag down, but good job by number 30, it's Blake Glass, for holding on to the leg of Lewis to where he couldn't go anywhere, and then the rest of his team came and finished it.
And a foul.
And the flag's on Washita.
So
everything's going Covington's way so far.
I tell you what, it's been that kind of night.
And that's going to move them all the way back to the 20.
And one of the things we were mentioning is McKnight does a good job, and it's something that the special teams for Covington have actually excelled at, given the circumstances. But think of it from an opposing team standpoint. You don't see that often. It's really difficult to prepare for in a week.
Very true. So 1st and 10 from the 20 for Ouachita. Johnson calls for it. Hands off to Roberts. Has a hole. Reroutes and hits it. That'll be a first down for Ouachita Parish.
And once he is able to snake his way through, because basically he made 2 nice cuts in there. So it's very well done by him. Avery Menheim almost got a little hand on the ball, but made sure it made the tackle.
1st and 10. From the 32, handoff goes Roberts, looks to cut it, but he's dropped by Darren Thompson.
Yep. And I tell you what a blessing it is to have that guy on the field.
Yeah.
And of course.
And he had that very inspirational story.
Absolutely. And guess who else is in there? Cooper.
Adrian Cooper.
We mentioned him earlier.
Yes. So 2nd down, 2nd and 8 for Ouachita. Keeper coming near sideline from Johnson, looking to go up, and there's a flag down, potentially in the area of holding on Newton. Oh, well, now Newton's clapping, so let's see what the call is. The flag is that. Oh, they're going to say face mask.
Huh.
Yeah, face mask on Covington. So that'll move Ouachita forward. That'll be well, they were already going to have a first down anyway.
Right.
But that it's extra added.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to give free yardage here before the half. That's a big one, a 15-yarder.
Yeah.
Mr. Fred
So first down, and they're inside. They're into Covington territory at the 49-yard line.
And I tell you, Johnson did an excellent job right there of selling the run, because Cooper actually really, broke down on the running back, which is why he had that lane outside.
Quickly getting the play as the play clock's down to 3. Johnson calls for it. Handoff goes to Roberts. It's a reverse coming this way. Johnson looking to lay a block, but Datron Harper was the one who got it on the reverse. And instead of following his block that Johnson was starting to put out there, he cut back inside and was dropped.
How's that for Edrin Cooper making up for that mistake when he bit on that play earlier? He fought off 2 blocks right there to put his nose in and make sure that initial tackle was made. It just shows his character right there as well.
So loss of 4. Is it 2nd and 14 here? 3:30 to go in the first half. Johnson calling for it. And they hand it off up the middle. Good push, and that'll get them back to about the original line of scrimmage. The run from Chonzavia Lewis.
It's going to set up a 3rd down and a long 8, short 9. But I tell you what, again, anytime Mr. Jabari Johnson gets some space, 9 yards is not much to eat up.
And once again, Cooper and Thompson in on the stop there.
Yes.
So 3rd down, looking to pass. It's a quick flare out to Lewis. Lewis makes a cut inside, and that'll be a first down for Washita.
He may be close. It's going to be real close. If it's not a first, Ouachita, I would imagine, will be going for it.
Yeah, it's about 4th and inches. Maybe they'll bring the train out they'll bring the train out to measure it.
And I tell you what, Covington had a couple of opportunities to make that tackle and make this a lot more difficult in space. But again, when you have a guy like Roberts, it's really difficult to bring him down, period. And when he's in space, it's just exponentially more difficult.
If this is short, it's by a chain link.
Yeah, it's not much. It's a blade of grass and then some.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has this.
No. Well. Wow. Yep. By a chain link.
Not much.
Yeah. So that'll bring up 4th down for Washita.
Yeah, let's see what Ouachita does here. It's one of those things where when you're at the goal line, it's one thing for the quarterback to break the play with the ball. Here, there's a whole lot of subjectivity.
Right.
So do you really, want to not have that, definitive line that you're going to cross with the, the ball, the plane of the goal? I think they line up and they just give it to Roberts. I mean, again, he's an 8-yard a pop guy this year for the most part, 7.8 yards. So.
If they can get the push on the Covington defensive line, which has been a bugaboo for them.
Well, I tell you got guys like, Kobe Amos in there and, Corey Donovan. Those guys are eating up some blocks, and they're able to fire off the ball right here. And, Cody Turner.
Johnson in the gun, calls for it. Designed run, he'll keep it going forward, and he'll get the first down there, brought down by Harrell.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Harold not only made the tackle, he was seeing the ball, and he made a swipe at it on the way to the tackle. So good technique right there. But hey, give Ouachita credit. A nice play design. Covington was sold out on the middle, looking for that run right up the gut. So first down for Ouachita. The Ouachita Lions set up shop at the 35 and change.
Yeah, about the 36. 2:03 on the clock. Johnson looking to pass. Screen out there. Harrell.
Wow.
Gobbles it up right away.
Wow. Great read by Mr. Juwan Harrell. And we've talked about this before. He's like vice grips. When he gets a hand on you, he's not letting go. And that time, he got two hands and wrapped up nicely.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 15 for Ouachita. They looking to score here before half. They have a minute 30 to do it.
And the clock's not their friend at this point.
Not at all.
They need to get it in high gear if they're going to get in the end zone.
Calling for it. Handoff goes to Roberts. He's met at the line. He'll fall backwards because he had turned his back to the defensive line. He falls backwards for a gain of about a yard. But and now Washita will take a timeout. So with a minute 15 remaining here in the first half, Washita takes a timeout with Covington leading 28-7. After the timeout, Washita back onto the field. They have a minute 15 to score on this drive. Here's 3rd and 14. Looking to make a play here. Johnson calls for it. Play action. Steps up. Pass is complete. And he had to redirect and kind of lunge forward to get out of bounds. But Josh Newton caught that pass there, and he'll get the first down.
And I tell you what, a great job by Jabari Johnson because he had a lot of pressure on him, and he stepped up and delivered a nice pass. And this is a really, really big drive right now for Ouachita. They get the ball first to start the second half, so if they can find pay dirt right here, they'll be going into halftime thinking, let's come out, let's get a score, climb back in this game, and do what we have to do.
Right, if they score here and then score on that first drive after half, it's a one-point game. But they also have to, and I'm sure the players aren't really thinking about this, but if you look to history, there's an official timeout on the field, but if you look to history, the stat I read earlier, when Ouachita's trailing at half over the last 6 years, they've only won 2 games.
Well, I can tell you, if they're down 21 at half, the job becomes a whole lot more difficult in the second half.
So 1st and 10 with a minute 5 to go here in the first half. Johnson calls for it, looking to pass. Rolling to his right, sees an open hole. He'll shovel pass, and that falls incomplete. Intended out there for C.J. Brown. And I don't know if it looked like he crossed the line. Yeah, it looked like he crossed the line of scrimmage before he got it off, but no flag down from the officials. So that'll stop the clock, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
He must have been close. It looked like the head official was telling him, hey, that was awfully close. You need to be aware of it.
But it looked like he saw the hole open. He was going to try and make a play, but then he saw Brown was open.
Right.
He just didn't get enough power behind the shovel pass there, and it was off the mark intended for Brown.
And there's only 5 seconds left on the clock here.
I don't know if he knows that. 3 seconds. Johnson alone in the backfield, looking to pass as pressure bears down. Launches this one. It's picked off. Picked off by Harrell.
Yes. Holy cow.
Wow. I watched it the whole way to see if he held on to it. And he had it in a pocket. Cradled in his arm.
Beautifully done.
Interception by Jawan Harrell.
Wow. That's all you can say to that is wow. Because, I mean, that is like circus-style interception.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
I'm speechless. That was...
we talk about the vice grips, but it's usually in a tackle, not intercepting the ball. Once he had the ball, he wasn't letting that thing go, and it certainly wasn't going to hit the ground.
What an interception from Jawan Harrell. So 50 seconds remaining here in the first half. You think they take a shot here, or you think they just run it and let it run out, go to the locker room? And
here's what I think. I think we'll see a couple of runs, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see a seam route.
Play action. Alfaro launching this one for Shalona, and it's tipped away.
Wow, what great defense right there.
Tipped away by C.J. Brown.
Yep,
Brown going both ways.
Yeah, he had to get that big paw out there and make sure it was in the way, because Shalona actually was going to bring that in.
That's two times that we've seen Shalona open, and that was just a good job by Brown to close and get his arm out there to tip it away.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to take, him not getting a hand on the ball to find that one.
Yes.
But had he not, it would have been a big play for Covington.
Alfaro, once again, this time handing off to Brumfield. Brumfield still barreling forward. It takes 3 guys to bring him down.
And I tell you what, that might bring us to, it's going to be, no, it won't bring us to the half, but
We'll see one more play. You think they take a shot
You know what?
on third down?
I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those where you've got a 21-point lead. You've been playing well. But I think we're just going to head to halftime.
Clock running. Yeah, they're standing out, and they will take it to the locker room as well. They're setting up for a play. The play clock never started, but the game clock's at 1 second, and that ends it before they get the play off. So yes, they will head to the locker room with Covington leading 28-7.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the pride and the roar of Covington High, the Marching Lion Band. Introducing the drum majors of the Marching Lions, Matthew Fritcher, Elena Sharp, and Matthew DeSandra. The Covington High School Marching Lions are going to perform Victorious by Panic at the Disco. Let's continue with our winning ways as we perform All I Do Is Win. We will now feature the CHS Dancing Darlings and Golden Six. The Dancing Darlings officers are Captain Sarah Wolf, Co-Captain Lexi Adair, Senior Lieutenant Shelby Glass, and Junior Lieutenant Kerry Talley. The Golden Six officers are Senior Captain Lanisha Forstall, Junior Co-Captain Brianna Burris, and Junior Lieutenant Terry Whitehead. And now sit back and enjoy the Marching Lions as they present Seven Nation Army.
McKnight kicking this one away to start off the second half. This will be returned by Lewis. Lewis gets about to the hash, and he'll be brought down by a host of Lions. So Covington leads 28-7, starting off here in the second half. Washita gets a chance on offense to try and put some points on the board to close this gap. But as I said before half, there's this stat here that's not in the minds of these players most likely. But in the last 6 years, they've only won 2 games when trailing at half.
Well, like I said, prior to halftime, 21 points is a big gap to overcome. But the gig is, Ouachita's actually been able to move the ball. The offense have actually handled their job other than the turnovers and the missed field goal.
Handoff goes to Roberts, and he will gain about a yard before being brought down by Trevor Betts and Avery Mendheim.
And I mean, again, in terms of moving the ball, when you got a Jabari Johnson, when you have Dylan Roberts, these are quality players. So 2 things are happening here. They are getting some drives, and they are sustained drives, but the turnovers have killed Ouachita. But the reality is Covington High School has made those things happen. The game planning has been excellent, and just the playmaking ability of some of these young men on the field has been stellar.
Yeah, Clark and Harrell have been stellar. Play action. Here's Johnson to Roberts, met in the backfield by guess who?
Yep.
Guess who?
On the spot.
Milton Clark.
I'm telling you, handling their business. No other way to say it. Those guys have come to play, and it shows.
Very well.
It was a magnet where as soon as the ball was tossed and complete, Clark was right there, just
And
attracted to the ball.
And what a great job by the defensive staff right there to have those guys in position to make plays. So it's all encompassing.
3rd and 13 for Washita. Calls for it. Johnson looking to pass, has some time, steps up in the pocket, launches this one deep. Mendheim was looking for it, and it's overthrown. Intended for Joshua Newton. Well overthrown.
And I tell you, Mendheim was the only one who had a shot at that. He read that beautifully. And I tell you the other thing that happened right there. Cooper, who, we also made some plays, number 5 out there, he actually kind of chipped the wide receiver coming off the line. So it actually, stalled that route. And then actually looked to see, should I go in and spy on that quarterback or should I drop out into coverage? So they're trusting him to do a whole lot in a very short period of time. And he did it quite well there.
Zach Shaw on the punt for Ouachita, and the Peter call is on as they're saying get away from the ball. And Ouachita will down it at about the 43-yard line.
And Covington, again, showing how well coached they are. As soon as the call is made, they're clearing out. There's absolutely, they're almost running off the field and onto the sideline, making sure that there's no way that ball is going to hit them in the field of play.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Lions from the 43-yard line. They've made the most of their last couple of drives. They lead 28-7.
And the big boys up front have really, really done a great job tonight. They've created some holes.
And when they do that, Devin Brumfield's left to do what Devin Brumfield does best.
And that's definitely not what you want to have happen if you are Ouachita. But, Nick Cotton and Will Warner have been bookends that have been tough to handle.
And this one will be blown dead before the snap. Delay of game called on Covington.
Yes, Coach Salter's not going to be happy with that. I can promise you when they get into the film room, if they're fortunate enough to make it to the next round, they're going to definitely discuss that.
So that'll drop them back, make it 1st and 15. Ball back at the 43. Alfaro in the gun, Brumfield behind him, 3 to the left, but in tight. Driver motion. Handoff goes to Brumfield looking for a hole. He's met, and he'll be dropped for a short gain, not about a yard.
Yeah, there were 9 guys in the box right there. That's one of those where if Brumfield can somehow squeeze through, he's going to the house. But, boy, I tell you what, it's like a crowded elevator out there. There's so many guys from Ouachita right at the line.
DeKevian Woods with the initial contact. So that'll bring up 2nd and 14. 9:36 on the clock to go. 2 to the left. Alfaro calling for it. Play action. Looking to pass. Lofts it up right side, and it is picked off. Picked off by Joshua Newton over there covering Elgin Bell.
Yeah, that's one where he basically got some pressure, and that pressure caused him to step up and probably release it before he wanted to, and the coverage was excellent.
And that's a play that Ouachita needed big time.
Yeah, from a momentum standpoint, that was big. On the flip side, if you're Covington, it's virtually a punt. That's basically kind of what you're looking at, a punt with no return. So while it's not ideal, it's not the end of the world. It just puts Coach Glenn Salter's troops back on the field.
So 1st and 10 for Ouachita, looking to make the most of that turnover. Handoff to Roberts, going left side, barreling up. It took the 3rd guy to bring him down, and that 3rd guy was Cody Turner.
And I tell you what, Betts had an arm on the ball, and it was awfully close. Awfully close to squirting out of there.
And that'll bring up 2nd and 1 for Ouachita. They get set 2 to the right. Handoff goes to Roberts once again. good push from the offensive line. He'll get the first down.
Yeah, and I tell you, good job right there by the offensive line for Ouachita getting some push.
Chains moving. So let's see if Washita can get a drive going here, as they've been able to move the ball. It's just been turnovers, inopportune turnovers, and then a play call on the goal line
and a missed field goal. There's been a whole lot that's worked against them, so to speak, but they've actually been able to move the ball, as I've said.
And then they go with the run to Lewis, and Lewis will gain 5 on the carry.
Yeah, it's been one of those where the Covington Lions have had a bend but don't break. They've done a good job of funneling guys to where there's a lot of hats that can be put on the ball carrier. But, gosh, the big defensive plays, 3 of them that, obviously come to mind. And then, the 4th, I guess, would be Milton Clark running down the wide receiver.
Handoff, once again, huge hole there for Lewis. He hits it hard, and he'll get down to about the 41-yard line.
Big play right there, and it just goes to show, how explosive Ouachita can be.
Yeah, ball placed at the 42. But it seems as if they had a talk at halftime saying, let's get back to doing what we do best, getting push and running the ball on this team. They've been marching it so far.
Yes.
And this time Johnson will keep it himself, gets away from one defender, he'll lean forward, and a gain of about 4.
And hit in the backfield. That's literally all him. He breaks one tackle, leaning forward on the second tackle, and finally the third guy is the one who's making sure that his momentum is stopped.
Well, and we've seen the speed that Johnson has. It takes him a step to get to it, and he gets that momentum going. He's up 200 pounds.
Yeah, in a 6 foot, like you said, 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's a load.
Johnson calls for it, hands off to Roberts, and Roberts is met at the line and dropped for a loss of 1.
Well diagnosed right there.
Kobe Amos.
Yeah, he was definitely in, making sure that wasn't going anywhere.
For loss.
3rd down and 8.
3rd and 8.
For Washita, a big 3rd and 8 as they would like to continue this drive.
I tell you what, when Cody Turner and Kobe Amos are in there, and Corey Donovan, and they're eating up blocks on that interior, man, it makes it tough on the offense.
Johnson calls for it. He'll give to Roberts. Roberts looking for a place to go, looking upfield. He'll gain about 5 on the carry, but it'll be 4th and 3.
Yeah, and that's a big play right there by Kobe Amos. He actually was blocked initially on the play, but he never gave up. He just kept fighting, and they actually hit him with 2 guys. He was double teamed, but he fought through, kept fighting, and the play took a while to develop, and he was able to put a nose on the ball.
And this crowd's getting fired up as Washita going for it on 4th down. They want their defense to get a stop here, looking to pass. It's lofted up, and it is complete.
Wow.
What a grab from Joshua Newton.
Excellent coverage. It's just a great grab. I mean, the throw couldn't have been anywhere else that the defender wouldn't have been able to get a hand on it. So the throw was not only pinpoint perfect, what an incredible catch. Over the shoulder, basket catch on the sideline. Again, nothing wrong with the coverage by Milton Clark. It just took perfection to beat him.
So 1st and goal from the 5-yard line for Ouachita. Looking to punch this one in. They've been here before. Johnson cuts it upfield, puts his head down, looking to extend out, and he'll get down to about let's see where they spot it, the 3-yard line.
And I tell you, if I'm Coach Fitzgerald, I am most definitely putting it in his hands and saying, go ahead. This is your ball. Get it across the line.
So they're going. They have 3 to the left. Lewis in at running back. Johnson calls for it. He'll keep it himself, going right side, barreling forward. Made a big contact, but he's brought down at the 1-yard line by Trevor Betts, and that was quite a collision.
It was. And Milton Clark was there to make sure that he wasn't getting any further as well.
It's third.
So it's third and goal. Ball at the 1 yard line. Or it's just inside the 2.
Yeah, I can't imagine Ouachita not going for it twice right here inside the 1. And the reality is when you got number 1 in the backfield, this makes sense.
Here's a heavy set. Calling for it. It's a pass. Complete. Touchdown to the tight end, Jake Hammond.
And that's Jake Hammond showing, he's got the hands again. I mean, those big paws, he was able to hold on to one earlier and absorb a lick, but he just drifted out. Beautiful play design right there by Ouachita. And, again, he's sure-handed.
Yeah, drew everyone in expecting a run there, and Hammond unaccounted for.
And if you look at who they have in the backfield, everybody and their cousin should be looking for a run right there. So great play design right there by Ouachita.
Kukal on to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Jacob Albritton. There's a flag. Somebody get a little jumpy.
Yeah.
Oh, they call encroachment on Covington.
Yeah. Looked like Chandler Washington on the edge right there was going to try to make that run as an edge rusher. And he just was leaning forward and just fell over the line. But it was declined. They're just going to go ahead and kick it again.
Kick the extra point. And they had everything set, so they just wanted to leave everything the same.
Move their vehicles immediately.
Snap is back, placement, kick is up, and it is good. So with 4:28 remaining here in the third quarter, Covington leads 28-14. Chauncey Lewis kicking this one away after the Washita touchdown. Back deep are Shalona and Clark, and they pop this one up. Covington needs to get somebody on it, and it looks like they came down with it.
They did, but there was a lot of people on that. That's one of those, some communication would probably be a little bit better right there. Alex Sharp, the young freshman, making sure he got his big hands on the ball right there.
Alex Sharp.
So Covington will take over on offense.
Good effort. And the Lions will
at
have
the
first and 10. The ball will be
34-yard line.
34.
And I tell you, it goes to show you, that's a live ball. So even the youngster, the freshman, making sure he's aware of the circumstances right there.
Alfaro in the gun. Here on first down, he'll give it to Brumfield. Has a hole, and he's met with force by number 7, Decavian Woods.
Yeah, again, it's a loaded box right there, and it's going to be tough sledding. The only thing I can say is if by some chance, Brumfield gets through, he's going a long way. But, man, there's a lot of bodies in there.
That makes it 2nd and 8 for the Lions. Let's see if Washita can stay firmed up on the offensive line here.
Maybe Alfaro on a keeper.
Driver in motion. Alfaro gets the low snap. Brumfield is met, and he'll be dropped after a gain of, well, maybe no gain.
Good job right there by Ouachita's front 7.
Decavian Woods once again. He got about a gain of 1, so that'll bring up 3rd and 7 for the Lions here. But so far here in the second half, this defensive front has been pretty firmed up against them.
Yeah, Ouachita's done a good job, and I don't think they've made a ton of adjustments, just slight adjustments, but one of the things they're doing is making sure that stop the run first.
Snap is back. Alfaro, play action, looking to pass out, and it's incomplete, intended for Kijam Batiste. And I tell you what, had he caught that one, it was off to the races.
Yeah,
on the slant.
It's one of those where honestly, Alfaro's going to want that throw back, just simply because it wasn't his best throw. It's a tough throw in terms of timing, but Kijam ran a really good route right there, and Alfaro definitely has the ability to put that ball on the spot.
That pass incomplete. It's 4th down.
So Alfaro calls for it, punt this one away on the quick kick. It'll roll back is Devin Wallace, and Washita gets away from it. So they'll be down at about the 23-yard line, where we'll see Washita take over on offense, and where they're looking to put more points on the board and close this deficit.
Hey, they did a good job last drive. They strung the drive together nicely, made the plays where they needed to. More importantly, at this point, if you're Ouachita, you're stopping the run and you're establishing the run, which really is a tough combination for Covington High School. So the Covington Lions, they're going to have to step up, make a play somewhere, and put the Ouachita Lions in a difficult position on the offensive side of the ball.
2:56 to go here in the third. Johnson calls for it. He'll keep it himself, going near sideline, and he'll gain about 6 yards on the carry.
I tell you what, we've talked about Hammond having good hands. I think he had a couple of handfuls of jersey right there. He was in tight, though, so it's one of those things where if you can get in tight, you're probably not going to see that call. So not only well coached, but well executed by him.
And a Covington player was nicked up there over on the sideline. They got him off the field quickly, and Washita is awaiting a new play coming from their sideline. So 2nd and 2.
Some assistance on the sideline.
The player was Milton Clark. They'll evaluate him on the sideline. New play coming in, and Washita has slowed down significantly.
Yeah, they're looking to be very direct in terms of their run, so they're not looking to catch Covington off guard.
Johnson, the pass, dropping back, has time, launches this one. That one over the head of everybody.
Yeah, there was,
and falls incomplete.
That was a coverage pressure right there. He had nowhere to go with the ball, so he just threw the ball over the top to make sure that there were no issues.
But good blocking there from that offensive line. They gave Johnson a good bit of time.
They did, but it's one of those things where he could have had another 5 minutes. If the guys can't break free of their defenders, it's not going to happen.
So well done by the DBs of Covington.
Big third down right here.
Yeah, 3rd and 2. Calling for it, Johnson. And he'll be met in the backfield and dropped for a loss by Harrell and Betts.
Yeah, they're going to call him down and not a fumble. And if anything, that would have been a fumble forward, which would have been a penalty. So that's going to set up a 4th down and a long 3, short 4. And given the circumstances, Ouachita looks like they're going to keep their offense on the field.
Wow. 4th and 3. When you're down by 2 scores, 2:13 to go in the third, every drive's a big drive.
Yeah, I tell you, the only thing I'm looking at is it's a 2-score game.
Shalona in at DB where Milton Clark was. Johnson looking to run upfield. He'll be met almost immediately. And the ball is on the ground, but they say it came out after the whistle.
It's a turnover no matter what.
Yeah, turnover on downs. And Covington will have stellar field position at the 30-yard line to take over here on offense.
Yeah, again, I know that Ouachita has a lot of confidence in the way that their defense is playing right now. But man, I tell you, that's a tough spot to put your defense in terms of field position. That really flips the field. And Covington needs to do something with it. The defense stepped up, did their job. Coach Glenn Salter's troops handled their business. So now it's time for the offense.
1:56 to go here in the third. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Brumfield in the backfield calling for it. Alfaro hands to Brumfield, and he'll be dropped for no gain by number 39, Ramsey Logan.
Yeah, and Covington is definitely focused on running the ball right now. The clock, again, is their friend in terms of this field position. They should be really confident. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Alfaro keep it or find a nice little seam route again, because they may be setting up Ouachita for something.
2nd and 11 for the Lions. Alfaro taking his time, calls for it, gives to Brumfield again, looking to hit the hole, and he'll be dropped down by number 50, Serdarius Ellis.
And I tell you what, that front 7, actually front 8 in this case, they're doing their job, and they're making it tough for Brumfield.
And Serdarius, 6'3", 305. It's not what you want falling on top of you.
No.
3rd and 10 for the Lions as Alfaro awaits the play from the sideline. 41 seconds on the clock here in the third. Motion from Bell. Calling for it. Alfaro, keeper, looking to bounce outside. Good contain there by the defensive ends to stay home and drop Alfaro.
Yeah, it's going to, it's one of those now where does the offense stay on the field? Is it a quick punt? How do you want to handle this? If it were a little shorter, I could see Covington setting up some type of offensive play, but at 4th and 11, I'm assuming a punt and look to set up the defense with a long field in front of Ouachita.
And Coach Salter is going to take a timeout to talk it over with his team. And that will end the third quarter as Covington leads 28-14.
St. Tammany Parish Public Schools, an A-rated school district. Graduates with the highest ACT scores in the state. Facilities with the latest technology. Safe and secure schools. A variety of sports. Fine arts. And learning to last a lifetime.
I'm Superintendent Trey Foles, and this is where we educate every child, every day.
Start of the fourth quarter. It's 4th and 12 for Covington. Shalona in motion, looking to pass is Alfaro, and that is launched and picked off, but a late flag comes, and I believe that will be pass interference, though, called on Washita as Joshua Newton stands over the flag over here.
So it'll be holding?
Yeah.
Washita, defensive holding?
Defensive holding on Washita. He had, I don't know if the camera got it in there, but he had a handful of jersey. I was surprised it wasn't called sooner.
Interception.
That's a
And the Lions retain possession.
Yeah, Lions continue to possess the ball, and that'll make it
4th and
2, or 4th and a long 1 for the Lions. But negates the interception.
It does.
And they have a chance to get the first down here.
Well, if Covington picks up the first down here, then that play is huge because it gives Covington a fresh set of downs to work with. So this is a big play.
Maryland Alfaro under center. Goes the handoff to Brumfield, barreling forward, and he'll have the first down. So that defensive holding was huge.
Yes, it was.
As the Lions will continue this drive, they started it with great field position anyway.
For the Lions of Covington.
And more importantly for Covington, the clock should start running here shortly as soon as the...
Yeah, the official just signaled it, so 11:45. 1st and 10 with the ball on the 20-yard line. And they're going to stay in the Maryland I as Alfaro continues to watch the play clock over here, and he'll let it run down to 3 seconds before snapping it and giving it to Devin Brumfield, following his lead blockers. And he'll, before being run out of bounds, he'll get to about the 14-yard line.
And I tell you what, he was another, if he is 1 yard in, 1 yard forward and hits, he's walking into the end zone untouched. He just ran out of real estate right there.
2nd and 5 for the Lions here. And they're going to keep that Maryland I in. Why not?
If it's working, roll with it.
Alfaro calls for it. Give to Brumfield again. Has a big hole. Hits it. 10-5. Touchdown.
Why not? It's working. Untouched.
Great protection by that offensive line and blowing a wide open hole for him. And Brumfield just good vision, hit it and took it to the house.
Beautiful execution right there by the O-line. You give credit where it's due when your running back's not touched. It's a great night for them.
So Austin Furman on to attempt the extra point. out of the hold of Mendheim. Snap is back, kick is up, and it is good. So with 11:19 remaining in the fourth quarter, Covington leads 35-14. Squid kick in and hits the ball hit the front line there, and the big guy fell on it.
I tell you, that could have been really dangerous. That's a good job, in terms of getting on the ball by Chip Adams, because if it squirts away from him, that's a live ball. So good job by him.
I don't know if he was expecting it, but as soon as it hit him, he just dropped right on it.
Yeah, he did exactly what he needed to do, and Ouachita's going to set up shop nicely in terms of field position at the 46.
First and 10, 11:18 on the clock. Johnson calls for it. He'll give to Lewis, and Lewis will be gobbled up in the backfield, but we have a flag down. It was Harrell and Washington.
That looks to be like a face mask on Betts. It's kind of weird. It kind of looked like his fingers got tangled up in his mask. So it's one of those where you could even see a broken finger or something like that coming out.
So they mark it off. And that'll be first and 10 for Washita from the 40.
Betts is staying on the field, so he's going to grind with that, and he's going to look to make up for that mistake.
They're going with that full house backfield. Motion up. Johnson calls for it. Handoff goes to Lewis. Has a hole. He hit that one pretty hard.
Yes,
but he'll be short of the first down.
I tell you, he was through the hole with quickness. If it wasn't for Cooper right there sticking his nose in, he could have gone to the house. He was just shot through a cannon going through there.
Second and 2 for the Ouachita Lions, as they trail 35-14.
This formation has worked for them.
Johnson, handoff goes to Lewis again, has a hole, hits it, gets away from one defender, and he'll be brought down over there by number 29, Chris Arrington.
Mendheim got a hand on him, but it wasn't enough to bring him down. The good news for Covington is that it slowed him down enough, to where Arrington could clean it up. And Arrington did an excellent job right there finishing off the tackle.
So another first down for Ouachita, staying with the full house backfield. Johnson calling for it. Lewis once again trying to bounce it outside. He gets there, going upfield, and he'll be very close to a first down, maybe inches short.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job, and right now the offensive line's firing off. They're gashing the defense right here for some nice chunks of yardage, and even though the good news for the Covington Lions is the clock's still running, the bad news is so are the running backs for Ouachita.
Yes. Johnson calling for it again, gives to Lewis again, has a hole, spinning out of one defender. Very well done. Even though he was spinning away, Mendheim was able to drop and grab his legs to where other Lions could come play cleanup after.
And I tell you what, he's getting through the defensive line, and it's taking the linebackers and even the safeties to make the initial contact. So that ought to tell you how well this is working right now.
Johnson calls for it again, looking to pass, lofts this one up, and it is caught for a touchdown. Great placement on that throw to Joshua Newton for the score.
And I tell you what, he's actually been able to put the ball on the money over the shoulder at least 3 times tonight that I've seen.
Great throw and catch from Johnson to Newton.
And this shows the character and the quality of Ouachita. You're down 3 scores on the road, you can either hang it up and head to the house. Not this crew. They're ready to play, and they want to get it back down to a 2-score game right here.
And they've stopped the clock as Newton hasn't been able to make it to his team's sideline yet. He looks to be cramping up a little bit.
He is. He was actually, as soon as he caught the ball, he started reaching down to his calves. And it wasn't just one calf. It looked like he was reaching down to both, which that's tough to handle.
But now on to attempt the extra point is Kukal. Snap is back, placement, kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 9:09 remaining here in the fourth quarter, Covington leads 35-21. So expecting an onside kick, Hammond in as the kicker now. Covington's expecting it as well. Let's see what Hammond can do here. He kicks this one. That won't go 10 yards. It's touched by Covington, and it looks like a Washita player fell on it. There's a scrum as I see Edrin Cooper down there near the ball.
Covington has the ball.
And Covington has it. That was Edrin Cooper making a big-time play and a big-time save there. Because that was touched, and it's a live ball.
Yeah, it's one of those where Keyshawn Baptiste had lots of acres in front of him, and I think he was just going to snag it out of the air and head to the end zone. And that ball took a weird bounce on him and ended up going off a shoulder pad. And I think that's one of those where he's ready to make a play. He's a playmaker. So again, if he's able to corral that ball in, he's going the other way for 6. You know, it's literally a matter of an inch, one way or the other, and it was just a weird bounce.
So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're keeping the Maryland eye in for Covington's offense. They'll hand off to Brumfield, and he is gobbled up in the backfield.
And that was excellent penetration right there by Ouachita.
Jaquez Jackson.
Yes, he was in the backfield immediately.
Jackson, a 6'1", 250-pound junior for Coach Fitzgerald.
Yeah, he's going to enjoy having him back there next year because I tell you what, he's tough to handle on that defensive line.
2nd and 12 for Covington. Alfaro calls for it. Brumfield, left side, cuts up. He's met by a wall of defenders, and he'll gain maybe 2 and get back to the initial line of scrimmage there.
Yeah, and this sets up a big 3rd down right here. If Covington can get the first, then keep the clock moving, that definitely will be a huge shift in momentum. If not, when I say it'll be a shift in momentum, 2 plays and you're looking at a yard. So not only are you looking to create more momentum going forward, you're looking to make sure that Ouachita doesn't steal some of that momentum and start going the other way.
3rd and 9 for Covington, staying in the Maryland eye. Alfaro calling for it and gives to Brumfield, going right side, and a wall of defenders once again takes down Brumfield, led by number 58. That is Kurt Hill.
Making the tackle.
And looks like we have an injury on the field.
So we will step away for the injury timeout.
Injured player.
4th down and an advantage to having your quarterback as your punter, as it makes fakes a little easier. But here, Alfaro will just quick kick it away, and it'll be fielded by number 10 for Washita, Devin Wallace. He'll be brought down at about the 20-yard line over there by Kejon Baptiste.
Yeah, when you see Baptiste make the play and Shalona clean it up, that's 2 wide receivers. Shows you the mentality of the Covington Lions when your wide receivers making tackles.
So 7 minutes to go here in the 4th. 2 scores to tie it for Washita.
And it's possible. I mean, you know, with their big play capabilities, they can easily hit a gap, and 10 seconds later, it's a 1-score game. So it's time for Covington's defense to step up.
Motion across, the give goes to Datron Harper, who will cross and get the first down for Washita.
If he doesn't run out of real estate right there on the sideline, that's
it. Looked to be off to the races almost.
Yeah, he was in 5th gear and rolling out.
So 1st down for Washita, looking to drive, keep this drive going, but they need a big play because the offense that they run tends to eat up some clock.
Well, again, it's one of those things where their defense is playing so well. They figure they can get out there and make it a one-score game and then have the ball last.
Johnson, the pass complete to Lewis, who's dropped after a gain of 4 there, dropped by Harold.
And, Arrington was also right there. He made sure he wasn't going anywhere. And Darren Thompson was also on the trail. There were 3 guys there to make the play, so good job by the Covington defense.
2nd and 6 for Ouachita. They're going 2 to the right, 1 to the left.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Ouachita go over the top here at some point soon.
The give goes to Lewis, and he's still churning. Takes the second guy to bring him down, and that second guy is Cody Turner.
And that's a big guy to be falling on you. I tell you, he's a senior, and he's done a good job of plugging the middle most of the season.
So 3rd and 1 for Ouachita.
Under 6 minutes now.
Yeah, they're eating up a lot of clock with the runs. Snap is back. Johnson give to Lewis. Comes back, still moving forward, dragging a defender with him. And the gain there for the first down and then some will get Ouachita to about the 50-yard line.
And again, I think that's the deal. They're just looking to run their offense, hopefully break a big one, put their defense back on the field, and their defense has been playing quite well. And once their defense is out there, let them get a stop and get the ball back.
5:30. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Johnson on first down, calls for it, hands to Lewis. Play action. Launches this one, and it's incomplete as Brown looked to be looking the wrong way. It fell on the left shoulder. He was looking to the right.
Yeah, I tell you, that over-the-shoulder catch that's been there tonight, and they've done an excellent job of being able to bring that in. It just didn't happen for him right there. The coverage was good. And the throw wasn't a terrible throw, but it would have been a difficult catch.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Ouachita Lions.
And the good news, if you're the Ouachita Lions, is it did stop the clock, and it's 2nd and 10, but it's manageable given how well they're running the ball on this drive.
Calling forward is Johnson, looking to pass again. Pressure bearing down from Crandall, and he'll launch it away to the sideline.
I tell you what, I don't know how that's not a flag right there, because there wasn't anyone within 5 yards of that ball easily, and he was still in the pocket.
Yeah, Covington fans do not like the note. Oh, and there's a call there. A flag coming out very late. And there it is.
And it should have been. I mean, the wide receiver's coming back at that point, but the ball's already out of bounds, and he's actually still at the yard to make marker. So that's actually a full 5 yards. And again, it wasn't like he was there. He was actually walking back. So, I mean, in the vicinity, it's a real loose term, but the reality is you got to have someone at least realistically, capable of catching the ball.
So that'll make it 4th down and very long after the loss of down. Officials conference still going on though.
Yeah, I guess one of the officials is saying there was a wide receiver over there, and there was. I can't say there wasn't.
Yeah, Joshua Newton was over there.
But I mean, again, it's a discretionary call when you're looking at it, a judgment call. And again, if the ball is anywhere remotely going towards the wide receiver, they tend to be a little lenient on these calls. In my personal opinion, the ball was nowhere near, being what I would consider to be a proper pass. It's going out that shouldn't have been intentional grounded. To me, it's a definite call.
Oh, and they'll wave it off now.
Goes to show me.
Covington fans really not liking it. But
again, maybe the film will show different. And there was, like I said, there was a wide receiver over there, but he had to have been 7 or 8 yards away at the time the ball was over.
So it's 3rd and 10. Dropping back, Johnson flaring it out to Lewis, brings it in, and he'll gain about 7. on the reception, and as soon as he got that ball in his hands, he was off to the races.
Yes, he was. And that's going to bring up a big 4th down right here.
That'll bring up 4th and 4, and Ouachita will go for it, of course. 4:44 on the clock here in the 4th quarter.
If they make this, how big is that no call?
For sure. Johnson, option, pitch, it's caught by Lewis,
but doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, it is another turnover on downs, and Covington will take over.
I tell you what, containment. Covington was up to the task right there. The coaches had him in an excellent position to make the play. And then the late pitch, it's one that was difficult to handle. But, boy, what a big play by the Covington defense.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line for Covington. And here I'm
steady
we're
dose of Maryland Eye?
Yeah, steady dose of Maryland Eye and Devin Brumfield.
And look, he's one of the key components. Why not? Especially if they can chew up the yards, force Ouachita to take a timeout. How many do they have left?
Washita has 2.
Well, then this is the time where if you can get a 1st down or 2, you're going to force them to take those.
Devin Brumfield, beautiful hole, and he gets a 12-yard gain there. You can't say enough about this Covington offensive line. They are unreal.
They fantastic blocking up front.
And, that's been all season, and that'll get you 11-0, looking to be 12-0.
That's right. And, Coach Salter, he trusts his staff. Johnny Flowers, he's in charge of the offensive line, and I tell you what, they've been superb.
Actually, that's a 14-yard gain.
So a 14-yard gain from Devin Brumfield.
At the 41.
And Maryland Eye continues. Alfaro kept that one, and he'll dive forward just to not get as much of a loss as he was going to have. Dives forward, but still a loss of 3.
And still no timeouts from Ouachita, which kind of surprised me given the circumstances right here. Maybe they'll look to use one if they get a stop right here on 2nd down and long.
Yeah, 3:36 and running on the clock. Play clock is down to 14 seconds. I'd assume Alfaro will let that run tick down to about 3.
Senior laden squad, they're smart. They'll milk it all the way down to the last possible second.
Here we go, Brumfield up the middle, and he'll be stopped after a gain of about 3. And Ouachita will take a timeout. So timeout called with 3:16 remaining in the 4th. Covington leading 35-21. 3rd and 9 for the Lions, staying in Maryland Eye. Alfaro, plenty of room to the left side, looking to break it outside, and great shoestring tackle there from Datavian Carey.
Yeah, and that's one of those, it wasn't going to go anywhere, but it actually kind of benefits Covington High School because he stayed in bounds.
Right. So clock's still running under 3 minutes, and now Ouachita only has 1 timeout left. It's 4th down for Covington. This is blown into play. And they're taking their time. Play signaled in as the play clock's down to 4. Maryland Eye here on 4th down. They tried the ball was dropped there by Alfaro? No, he got on top of it, but it's 1st down for Ouachita regardless.
Wow.
They did. So Alfaro did fumble it, and it was recovered by Ouachita.
I'm not sure what happened right there, but
it was 4th down anyway. So
right, but a punt right there means Ouachita's looking at another 20 to 30 yards potentially, depending upon where it's downed.
Right.
The good news is if you're Covington, you're not worried about a special teams situation, but if Alfaro punts it out of bounds, that kind of mitigates that anyway.
So 2:24, Johnson, 2 to the right, 2 to the left, calling for it, looking to pass. Tosses it complete to the tight end, and he's dragging defenders as he gets down to near the 35-yard line. That's Jake Hammond, the 6'2", 245-pound tight end.
He has been a load all night, and he's got great hands. I mean, one of those guys that the ball's out there, and he's definitely going to bring it in.
Quickly getting set up, calling for it. Johnson looking left side, complete to Brown. Brown spinning away from a defender. 15, 10, 5, touchdown for Ouachita. Quick drive, quick score, and the extra point unit will come on.
And now we're in onside kick mode.
And they tried it before and almost recovered due to the
Absolutely.
touch from Kijan Baptiste. I'm sure Covington will be a little more cognizant this time around. Excuse me, this time around. On to attempt the extra point, Christian Kukal. High snap, gets it down. Kukal's kick is up, and it is good. So with 2:03 remaining in the fourth quarter, Covington leads 35-28. So Hammond on once again to attempt the onside kick after the Ouachita score. Hammond kicking this one away. Will it get the 10 yards? Well, it won't get the 10 yards, but Covington will recover it.
Excellent job by the Lions right there. I tell you what.
Recovered there
Yes.
by Marcus Hollins.
Yes, and he has actually played some keeper out there with us at the soccer with the soccer team, showing some good hands right there. So good job.
So Covington will take over. I'm sure we'll see that Maryland eye once again here on 1st and 10 at the 49. There's 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You think we just get a heavy dose of Devin Brumfield?
I think that's exactly what you're going to see.
Covington taking their time. Play clock is rolling.
If it's not Brumfield, it's going to be
An Alfaro keeper. Clock is at 9 seconds. Oh, and they're not going Maryland eye. They're going their base formation. Alfaro calling for it, but he'll hand to Brumfield. Left side, he's upended after a gain of 4.
Well,
and now Washita will
timeout.
take their final timeout with 1:54 remaining in the fourth, and Covington leading 35-28. 2nd and 6 after the Washita timeout.
2nd and 7.
Motion from Bell, calling for it. Alfaro, handoff up the middle, and Brumfield fought for an extra yard.
And more importantly, the clock is ticking.
And it can't be stopped by Ouachita anymore.
And play clock's running.
In a 1.
So it's time to just milk that down. And all the way, I'd imagine the
And
snap
head
will
on.
hop off with 1 second to go.
And head on to the quarters to face Hanville.
Well, it's not there yet, but let's get those 3 zeros on the scoreboard first.
Motion from Bell here on 3rd down. Alfaro gives to Brumfield, cuts it upfield, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Once again is Brumfield.
So 4th down, clock still running, 1:02 to go. Play clock hasn't been blown in. Like I said before, though, Hanville beat Ruston 23-21. So the winner of this game will go on to face Hanville.
This is true. Question is will Hanville be taking a ride to Ouachita if they can right the ship with a miracle, or is Covington
Going to the
loading
rock.
up the buses?
38 seconds on the clock. As it winds down, and Covington will take a timeout with 30 seconds on the clock here in the fourth quarter, and Covington leads 35-28.
Fake punt now.
4th down for Covington. It's back, quick kick away from Josh Alfaro. This will bounce, and it'll be returned by Ouachita as a man went to pick it up, and he's racing down the sideline. He'll be brought down over there He's run down by 5'11", 245 Kyle Fauntleroy, the offensive lineman.
Man, I tell you what, I'm looking at the Ouachita sideline, and they are definitely excited about this field position, because they're looking at setting up shop on the Covington side of midfield.
Yeah, right at the 49-yard line.
So this has the makings of a barnstorming finish.
17 seconds on the clock here in the fourth. Both cheering sections getting fired up. Cowbells in full force, trips left. Johnson alone in the backfield, calls for it. Quick pass out to Newton, throw back to Johnson, following blockers, cutting in, racing down the sideline, and forced out of bounds at the 25-yard line with 7 seconds remaining on the clock.
And this is it. Make or break time now. That's a good play call right there. He had a wall of blockers, able to eat up 20-plus yards.
Covington has 13 guys on the field.
Time for a timeout for the Lions if that's the case.
Yeah, and Covington will take a timeout with 7 seconds remaining in the fourth, and Covington leading 35-28. Seven seconds on the clock. Covington side fired up here on first down. Calling for it is Johnson. Steps up, looking downfield. He'll launch this one all the way to the end zone, and it goes out the back of the end zone as time expires, and Covington will move on to the quarterfinals to take on Hahnville.
There it is.
So let's take a second to thank those who helped bring you this game, starting with our superintendent, Mr. Trey Foltz, our director of broadcasting, Dr. Melody Menard, sideline cameraman, Rhett Sharp, cameraman, editor, and coordinator of Channel 13, Dave the Rave Williams. As always, color commentator, Coach Jimmy Inman. So from Jack Salter Stadium, where the Covington Lions defeat the Washita Parish Lions 35-28 to move on to the quarterfinals, my name is Grant Yenny. Good night. You are now leaving the Prep Zone.